The creek that runs through my backyard is more than meets the eye. Weird creatures I've never seen before are lurking underneath the stream banks. Today, I'm trying to get up close and personal with some of these weird animals, but the only question is, can I catch it? My name is Spencer, and welcome to Can I Catch It? Today, we're out here by the creek, one of my favorite places to explore because we're looking for turtles. A woodland stream can be a great place to look for wildlife. As it meanders through the woods, it's likely shaded by the trees, and the water source attracts a wide variety of life, on land and underwater. If you know how to look and what to look for, exploring in a woodland stream can be incredibly productive. Near a stream, signs of life are everywhere. You can find the tracks of animals that have passed through the area, and even hear and see some of the animals that are lurking nearby. Loads of frogs frequent this area, but these common frogs are not what we're looking for. To find some of the more elusive species that could be lurking in a creek, you're going to want to find the healthiest parts of the stream. And believe it or not, the local environment can give you clues. Some invertebrates are completely intolerant of pollution. This means if there's foreign chemicals in the water, various types of aquatic insects will not be able to survive. And while finding these aquatic insects can be really difficult, if you can find adults of these species nearby, you can bet that the stream is healthy. This stonefly was lurking on some plants adjacent to the creek. Stoneflies are among the most sensitive of these creek invertebrates, so finding this guy nearby is a good sign. The next thing you want to look for is habitat diversity. If the stream is incredibly uniform, it doesn't matter how healthy the water is, because there just isn't going to be a huge variety of animals lurking around. Log jams, plant life, and just natural variation in the water flow can indicate a nice variety of habitats underneath the water. This means that all kinds of different creatures can make their home in the creek, which will in turn attract some of the larger, more elusive animals that we're looking to catch. Now there's actually a lot of things you can find out here by the creek. And actually right here is an example of one of the other things you can find. What we have right here is a crayfish burrow, because there's actually lots of different crayfish that call this creek home. And if you're lucky enough, you might be able to catch one. Crayfish can be incredibly difficult to catch. Not only do many of them blend in super well to their environment, but water bends light, which basically means your depth perception is going to be off when you're going in for the grab. It'll look like you're within reach of the animal, but you'll close your hand on nothing but loose soil. This bending of light gives the crayfish an advantage. It'll see your hand coming, giving the crayfish plenty of time to dart backwards underneath a rock or the bed of the creek. Yeah, that's right, these guys swim backwards. While it's pretty much normal instinct to go for the head of the animal to prevent escape, these guys have evolved a trick to get around that. Crayfish can use their super powerful tail to launch backwards and then swim for cover. If you want to catch these guys, I highly recommend you bring some kind of net. Even a small one will do. One precise swoop from this little net caught me this cool little crayfish. At first glance, I thought it was a devil crayfish that had finally come out from its burrow, but after a second look, I noticed that it had these nice dark stripes running down its back. This is actually a whole different species of crayfish, a cousin of the devil crayfish in the same genus with no common name. And I have to admit, this guy is far from a perfect specimen. This crayfish is missing one of its claws or chelipeds, and just seems in general worse for wear. That might explain why I was able to catch it with such a small net. Crayfish, while being crustaceans, can undergo a process called caudal autotomy, just like some insects, reptiles, and amphibians can. What this means is that crayfish can shed a limb to escape being eaten. So it's likely that a predator of some kind caught this guy by his claw sometime recently, and he sacrificed the claw rather than be devoured. While he gets to live to fight another day, it's unlikely that that claw is ever going to grow back. But He seems to be doing okay in this little section of creek, so I'm gonna go ahead and let him go and see if we can find anything bigger. I've been exploring this creek for years, and while you'd think it gets old, this area has never ceased to surprise me with the kinds of animals that I can find. It seems like almost every year, new species I've never seen before are cropping up in this woodland stream. From snapping turtles to crayfish, it's like I'm always learning something new when I'm out here in the creek. Recently, I've been curious as to why I've seen so few salamanders out here even though the stream is extremely healthy. My working theory has always been that I'm just not looking in the right spots. And today, I realized something. There is more to this creek than meets the eye. The area where water is exposed to the sun is only a portion of the actual creek. The water itself actually extends underneath the banks of the creek, where tangles of roots and plants create a diverse environment where a wide variety of creatures can hide. Now, I don't have the high-tech equipment that I would need to actually get underneath there and film things, but I'm betting that all kinds of secrets are lurking underneath the banks. But today, the thing that gave away the fact that these banks are in fact hollow was I noticed a speedy little reptile trying to escape underneath the bank. I don't see this too often over here. We got a little turtle creek. Hey, buddy. I didn't immediately recognize it, but this is in fact an eastern mud turtle. These guys are among the cutest turtles you can find in the wild out here in the East Coast, and they get their name from their uncanny ability to burrow into the mud. At first glance, I thought it might have been a baby snapping turtle, which is what I usually find out in the creek at this time of year. But I quickly realized this turtle was able to retreat way too far into its shell. Once he poked his face out a little bit, and I saw those iconic freckles, I knew that I was dealing with a mud turtle. While this guy is not much bigger than the palm of my hand, this is about as big as these turtles get. This allows them to live in very shallow water environments, and like he was trying to do when he saw me, it helps them escape into tight spaces. I'm gonna go ahead and release this guy and let him go back about his business, but what an incredible find out in the creek, and who knows what other secrets are waiting to be uncovered. If you enjoyed this video, check out the link on your screen. I hope to see you there, but until next time, don't forget to get outside and find your own adventure. That is, I think, the biggest spider. We gotta move. Slow it first.